Families, friends, and special guests of our graduates, in keeping with the significance of this occasion, we ask that you observe a few simple courtesies. First, please do not obstruct the aisles to take photographs or congratulate the graduates. A professional photographer will be taking pictures of each graduate, which they will receive. And please follow the directions of the commencement marshals and ushers. Finally, in honor of our candidates, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. Family, friends, and special guests, please welcome our doctoral graduates. Now, please join us in welcoming the faculty of Cleveland State University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the University Platform Party, led by Honorary Faculty Marshal Dr. Jacqueline Jenkins and the 8th President of Cleveland State University, Dr. Laura Bloomberg.
I declare this commencement exercise to be assembled.
This room is way too quiet. We're here to celebrate a bunch of people that did an awesome thing, so let's start with that. Good evening, and welcome to the ceremony for doctoral graduates at Cleveland State University. I am Dr. Nigamant Sridhar, and I have the pleasure and privilege and honor of serving as Senior Vice President and Provost at Cleveland State University. As a courtesy to all graduates and their guests, I ask that you stay for the entire ceremony and remain in place until all degrees have been conferred. I'd now like to welcome Kaylee Bowen to the podium and for all of us to join the singing of our national anthem.
Stripes in
Thank you, Kaylee. Please be seated, everybody. And exceptionally, and thank you so much to the Olympic brass. They're up there, if you can't see them. Thank you for them for. It is now my honor to introduce the distinguished members of the platform party. Please stand as your name is announced and remain standing until everyone has been introduced. First are deans. Bill Costeas, Dean, College of Graduate Studies. Melissa Grice, Dean, the Monty Ahuja College of Business. Andrew Kirsten, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. Richard Schrepheuster, Dean, the Washkewitz College of Engineering. Jill Gordon, Dean, the Levin College of Public Affairs and Education. And Stephanie Brooks, Dean, College of Health. Members of the President's Cabinet, Patricia Franklin, Chief Administrative Officer and Chief of Staff to the President. Randy Dykey, Vice President, Enrollment Management. Nicole Addington, Chief Financial Officer. Wissam Halou, Chief Information Officer. Julie Ream, Vice President, University Advancement and Executive Director of the Cleveland State University Foundation. Roy Gifford, Vice President, University Marketing and Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. Our President's guests, Honorary Marshal Dr. Jacqueline Jenkins, Secretary of the Faculty Senate, and our President, Dr. Laura J. Bloomberg. Representing the Cleveland State University Board of Trustees, Faculty Representative Linda Quinn, Student Trustee Sky Carlson, Student Trustee Akshat Shah, Trustee Diane Downing, Trustee Vanessa Whiting, Vice Chair Tim Cosgrove, and Chair David Reynolds. Thank you. You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to call to the podium the 8th President of Cleveland State University, Dr. Laura J. Bloomberg.
Good evening, everybody. Gosh, I love this. This is one of my favorite days of the year. I say one of them because the other favorite day is tomorrow when we have our large commencement. Graduates, hearty congratulations to you. And to the family members, the friends, the moms, the dads, the spouses, the aunties, the uncles, the partners, the children who are here with us tonight, a special welcome to you. We all know that to reach this academic pinnacle is sometimes a team sport, and there's a number of people who support our graduates, and that's all of you. Most of my comments, though, are for you tonight, graduates. For most of you, you may know, or at least for many of you, exactly what comes next. You are earning the highest degree in your field, and it took years and years of preparation for you to get to this point. And I know you don't need me to tell you that. You know that well. So you had a plan. You know where you're headed, even if you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing next week or next month. You know why you sought this degree. So in some ways, it seems a little audacious to offer you some advice or guidance because now you have hit the pinnacle of your career. But nonetheless, I have a few thoughts for you. Just last month, our Board of Trustees endorsed the next strategic plan for Cleveland State University. The plan, which we are calling Cleveland State United, includes a mission and a vision for this institution, soon to be your alma mater, to advance over the next 6 years. Tonight is not about that strategic plan, but I thought about you because a part of this plan included getting input from hundreds of students and faculty members and staff and community partners and alums. What are we doing well, and where might we still grow and expand? And one of the things that led us to was to identify 3 core fundamental or foundational values that will drive our work over the next 6 years. And I'd like to suggest that although those values are for us as the people who will keep this institution going, as you consider us your alma mater, these values are really, I believe, relevant to you at this point in your career. So let me just tell you about those and how I think they might relate to you. Our first value that we talked about is collaborating closely with community. For CSU, we will continue our strong partnerships with community organizations and areas around Cleveland that need our support. We will grow in the extent of those collaborations. We'll enhance our engagement. As new graduates with a doctoral degree, I would suggest you also collaborate with your communities, however you define them and wherever you find them. I want to share a thought with you. You are among less than 2% of the adult human population on the planet to hold a terminal degree in your field. Think about that for a moment. Less than 2% of the adults on the planet have a terminal degree like you do now. I believe that has come with a great deal of effort, but it is also a privilege that was afforded to you that is not acceptable or accessible to many people. So what do you do with that great honor, that great privilege, but also that great responsibility? I suggest that you have an obligation to your community to share the talents that you have. Don't keep that to yourself. Share your knowledge, use it in new ways, create new knowledge, and make your community a better place in partnership. Collaborate with your community. The second value we identified at Cleveland State was to serve students. Now I know not all of you are going to become traditional educators. You may choose to use your degree in other ways. So you may not have literal students, but think about this. You're in that 2%. You are at the academic pinnacle of your academic trajectory. You have the opportunity to mentor, to guide, to be allies to people who will be wanting to follow in your footsteps. What are you going to do about that? You may feel like you're early in your career, but you're receiving a terminal degree this evening, right? That's a big darn deal, and you have the opportunity to serve others, individuals, in addition to community, with the guidance that you can now share. And finally, perhaps most important to you right now, we called it unleashing creativity, but it could be unleashing potential, unleashing new knowledge, new ways of thinking about the world. CSU will thrive as an institution when we collectively unleash our creativity to do new and innovative things. As you go into your career, I urge you to be creative, whether that is in the lab, the library, the studio, the mat, the field, wherever you find yourself. What will it mean for you in your profession to unleash your creativity? And what opportunities or permission will you give yourselves to do that? People who hold terminal degrees are often expected to be the people to create new knowledge and new insights in your field. You are a part of that group now. And of course, as you think about these things, I urge you to stay connected to each other, to the people in your community who you have met here, you have studied here, you've worked with. Stay connected to us. We are so proud of you, and I hope you are proud of the institution that is going to confer this degree on you. So let's stay together. Let's collaborate where it makes sense. Don't be strangers. So graduates, you are seated with and among and before people here who have served and supported you, who have mentored you, who have been guides and friends and kicked you in the butt when you needed to be kicked in the butt, your faculty, your advisors, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize them. So faculty, whether you're on the stage or in the audience, would you please rise? Graduates, do just that. Show them your appreciation. I think sometimes when we are students, and I consider that all of us, we are all teachers, we are all learners, it's easy to forget that a small thank you, it doesn't have to be a huge, huge gratitude message. It can be a small thank you for all you've done, goes a very long way. And also, the people I started with, the people in the audience that I wanted to recognize and thank for being here, we know that they have been a part of your journey. So graduates, if you would please stand for a moment, turn around, find the people in the audience who are your loved ones, and let's give them a big, huge round of applause as well. All the waving, that's right, there we go. It's a village. I'm so glad that we're here with your village. And again, congratulations, graduates. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the chair of our Board of Trustees, Mr. David Reynolds, who brings greetings on behalf of the full board to the fall class of 2024.
Thank you, President Bloomberg. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I wish to welcome graduates, family, and friends to this momentous occasion, our doctoral hooding ceremony. This is a day to celebrate and reflect on all that you have accomplished, learned while here at Cleveland State University. As individuals who have earned the highest academic credential, your doctorate, know that people will turn to you to solve the most complex challenges facing our world today. From research related to health and eradicating disease to those who have studied and researched the arts and the humanities, your scholarship has added the foundation of knowledge that is critical to today's society. So, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to say congratulations. I know that you'll go far in all your endeavors and that you will represent our Viking family in all that you do. Thank you.
It's funny, this ceremony is, always feels a little quieter and more formal than the one that we'll have tomorrow with our undergraduate students and master's students. But please give yourself the permission to be a little more rowdy. These are your friends and loved ones that have finished an accomplishment that has taken years, close to a decade in some cases. They've worked really hard. So give yourself the permission to be a little more rowdy than that. So there you go. So back to the script. They should let me not go off script too much, right? So thank you, Chair Reynolds, and thank you, Madam President. At this point, we have the honor to present to you each candidate of Cleveland State University's fall class of 2024 for doctoral degrees. The doctoral degree is the highest degree awarded by a university. It indicates that the recipient has significantly advanced the knowledge and practice within their discipline. To recognize this outstanding level of accomplishment, the Academy honors the recipient with the awarding of a doctoral hood and the distinguished title of doctor. The doctoral hood also comes with something that's incredibly personal in that the hood is put on the student by the person or the persons that most closely worked with them throughout their work, their doctoral advisors. And that's a relationship that we carry both as advisors as well as students throughout our lives. And that's a special moment that we will recognize as well. At this point, I invite Dr. Bill Costes, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, to present our candidates.
Thank you, Provost Sridhar. We begin with the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Business Administration. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, Scott Bible. Scott successfully defended a dissertation titled, Rethinking Motivation to Lead, Towards a Theory of Leader Motivation. He is being hooded by Dr. Benjamin Barron. I present you Dr. Scott Bible. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, Dora Rui Tong. Dora successfully defended a dissertation titled SCAR, an innovative solution for public blockchain scalability. She is being hooded by Dr. Raymond Henry. I present you Dr. Dora Rui Tong. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Nadia Abda El-Khalder. Nadia successfully defended a dissertation titled Mass Spectrometric Analysis of Clinically Irrelevant Molecules. She is being hooded by Dr. Baochuan Guo. I present you Dr. Nadia Abd El-Khalder. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Uthena Odat. Uthena successfully defended a dissertation titled Investigate the Metabolism of Phenolic Acid by the Gut Microbiota. She is being hooded by Dr. Baochuan Guo. I present you Dr. Uthena Odat. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Akshay Patil. Akshay successfully defended a dissertation titled Metabolomic Studies of Biological Models and Natural Products Using LCMS-Based Technologies. He's being hooded by Dr. Yan Shu. I present you Dr. Akshay Patil. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Igor Radzik. Igor successfully defended a dissertation titled Establishment of Anaplerotic Treatment Options for Very Long-Chain Acyl-CoA Dehydrogenase Deficiency. He is being hooded by Dr. Yana Sandlers. I present you Dr. Igor Radzik. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Minu Alipur. Minu successfully defended a dissertation titled Tumor Necrosis Stimulated Gene 6 and Thrombospondin 1 Modulate Wound Closure Rates and Inflammatory Profile of Chronic Diabetic Wounds. She is being hooded by Dr. Edward Mayton. I present you Dr. Minu Alipur. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Yushovardhan Sharma. Yushovardhan successfully defended a dissertation titled Advancing the State of the Art in Ultra-High Performance Concrete, Improving Sustainability and Durability. He is being hooded by Dr. Srinivas Alena. I present you Dr. Yashovardhan Sharma. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Regulatory Biology, Anshal Agarwal. Anshal successfully defended a dissertation titled Control of Lipid Metabolism by Eukaryotic Initiation Factor 2A. She is being hooded by Dr. Anton A. Komar. I present you Dr. Anchal Agarwal. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Regulatory Biology, Ogogo Patrick Ababy. Ogogo successfully defended a dissertation titled Regulation of Hepatic Lipid Metabolism by Calorie Restriction and Fasting, Circadian Clock and Diet Crosstalk. He is being hooded by Dr. Roman Kondratov. I present you Dr. Ogogo Patrick Ababy. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Regulatory Biology, Nupur Joshi. Nupur successfully defended a dissertation titled Heat Sensitivity of Meiosis, Effects on Cell Division and Molecular Recombination Events. She is being hooded by Dr. G. Valentin Borner. I present you Dr. Nupur Joshi. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Regulatory Biology, Chelsea Villanueva. Chelsea successfully defended a dissertation titled Orthologs and paralogs can be identified mathematically among multiple ribosomal operons in cyanobacteria. She is being hooded by Dr. Julie Wolin. I present you Dr. Chelsea Villanueva. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Corey Hirsch. Corey successfully defended a dissertation titled Relationship Between Perceived Social Support, Athletic Identity, and Career Self-Efficacy Among the Student-Athlete Population. He's being hooded by Dr. Graham Stead. I present you Dr. Corey Hirsch. Receiving the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Caroline Markle. Caroline successfully defended a dissertation titled Creating Conversations in the Secondary Mathematics Classroom. Experienced and emerging teachers reflect on cultivating discourse and the educational policy conditions that support and challenge their work. She is being hooded by Dr. Ann Galetta. I present you Dr. Caroline Merkel. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Lauren Nahila Lynch. Lauren successfully defended a dissertation titled The Relationship Between Institutional Identification, Institutional Betrayal, and Trauma Symptom Severity in Survivors of Military Sexual Trauma. She is being hooded by Dr. Julia Phillips. I present you Dr. Lauren Nahila Lynch. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Muata Niomke. Muata successfully defended a dissertation titled Effects of Planned Mentorship on African American High School Students' Academic Achievement and Behavior. He's being hooded by Dr. Frederick Hampton. I present you Dr. Muata Niamke. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Urban Studies and Public Affairs, Abigail Paskey. Abigail successfully defended a dissertation titled Toward Transdisciplinary City Halls, the Institutionalization of Collaborative Governance to Address Wicked Problems. She's being hooded by Dr. Nicholas Zingale. I present you Dr. Abigail Paskey. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Matthew Akers. Matthew successfully defended a capstone titled Bracing Outcomes in the Ambulatory Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Population. He's being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giffray. I present you Dr. Matthew Akers. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Olivia Bechtel. Olivia successfully defended a capstone titled Enhancing Recovery, Assessing the Game-Ready Device's Impact on Patient Outcomes and Clinical Efficiency. She is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giffray. I present you Dr. Olivia Bechtel. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Jiho Chung. Jiho successfully defended a capstone titled Optimizing Function for Patients with Guillain-Barré Syndrome in Skilled Nursing Facilities. He is being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Jiho Chung. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Natalie Klauser. Natalie successfully defended a capstone titled Fall Prevention to Optimize Functional Mobility and Healthy Aging. She's being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Natalie Klauser. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Alex Conklin. Alex successfully defended a capstone titled How Do Patients Learn Best? An assessment of educational materials provided to patients in the acute rehab setting. He is being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Alex Conklin. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Kayla Marie DeGeorge. Kayla successfully defended a capstone titled Back in the Game, Updating Hip Arthroscopy Return to Sport Guidelines. She is being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Kayla DeGeorge. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Miranda DiBiasio. Miranda successfully defended a capstone titled From Energy Deficiency to Peak Performance, a screening approach for relative energy deficiency in sports. She's being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Miranda DiBiasio. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Jessica Lauren Doughty. Jessica successfully defended a capstone titled Empowering Families, Enhancing Awareness and Access to Community Resources for Early Intervention Families. She is being hooded by Dr. Debbie Espy. I present you Dr. Jessica Lauren Doughty. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Hannah Downey. Hannah successfully defended a capstone titled Closing the Knowledge Gap Between Inpatient and Outpatient Pediatric Physical Therapy. She is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Hannah Downey. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Abby Catherine Evans. Abby successfully defended a capstone titled Pathways to Independence, Creating Effective Home Exercise Programs for Pediatric Patients. She is being hooded by Dr. Debbie Espy. I present you Dr. Abby Catherine Evans. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Mario Angelo Filiola. Mario successfully defended a capstone titled Modernizing Active ACL Rehabilitation, Development of an Evidence-Based Protocol for Successful Outcomes. He is being hooded by Dr. Debbie Espy. I present you Dr. Mario Angelo Filiola. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Linda Rose Hall. Linda successfully defended a capstone titled Breaking Through, Expanding Options at a Private Practice. She is being hooded by Dr. John Jezorowski. I present you Dr. Linda Hall. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Tia Harper. Tia successfully defended a capstone titled The Future of Fitness, Blood Flow Restriction Therapy. She's being hooded by Dr. John Jezorowski. I present you Dr. Tia Harper. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Tyler M. Higgins. Tyler successfully defended a capstone titled Return to Sport Criteria for Patients with Patellofemoral Pain Syndrome. He is being hooded by Dr. John Jezorowski. I present you Dr. Tyler M. Higgins. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Olivia Huber. Olivia successfully defended a capstone titled Empowering Pelvic Health, a patient's educational handout of pelvic floor anatomy and function. She is being hooded by Dr. Jane Keehan. I present you Dr. Olivia Huber. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Ariel Isabella. Ariel successfully defended a capstone titled Optimizing Geriatric Health, Exercise Prescription in Physical Therapy. She's being hooded by Dr. Jane Keehan. I present you Dr. Ariel Isabella. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Hannah John. Hannah successfully defended a capstone titled Enhancing Aquatic Therapy Compliance, Interactive Education for Successful Transition to Independent Pool-Based Exercise. She is being hooded by Dr. Jane Kean. I present you Dr. Hannah John. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Hannah Lighty. Hannah successfully defended a capstone titled Autonomic Dysreflexia, an educational intervention for healthcare providers. She is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Hannah Lighty. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Lindsay Malterer. Lindsay successfully defended a capstone titled Improved Utilization of MedBridge HEP Program. She's being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Lindsay Malterer. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Kevin Messerly. Kevin successfully defended a capstone titled Empowering Futures, Advancing Early Intervention Services for Children with Cerebral Palsy. He is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Kevin Messerly. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Amanda Novak. Amanda successfully defended a capstone titled Skills for Success, Enhancing Work Readiness Among High School Students with Disabilities. She is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Amanda Novak. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Justin Ochiltree. Justin successfully defended a capstone titled Enhancing Clinical Learning, Creating an Accessible Rehab Services Resource for Acute Care Student Success. He is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Justin Ochiltree. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Brandon Orlando. Brandon successfully defended a capstone titled Management and Prevention of Falls within Summa Rehabilitation Hospital. He is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Brandon Orlando. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Elizabeth Pax. Elizabeth successfully defended a capstone titled Improving Accessibility to Home Exercises for Patients with Neurological Conditions. She is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Elizabeth Pax. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Curtis Allen Roden. Curtis successfully defended a capstone titled Taking the First Step, an assessment of shoe inserts available for 1 to 3-year-old patients in outpatient physical therapy. He is being hooded by Dr. Patrick McGinty. I present you Dr. Curtis Allen Roden. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Samantha Salatino. Samantha successfully defended a capstone titled Home Program Help, Patient Guide for Overcoming Perceived Barriers to the Home Exercise Program. She is being hooded by Dr. Mary Milidonis. I present you Dr. Samantha Salatino. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Sarah Marie Simon. Sarah successfully defended a capstone titled Optimizing Quality Assurance, a strategic approach to implementing an internal chart auditing program. She is being hooded by Dr. Mary Milidonis. I present you Dr. Sarah Marie Simon. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Amanda Smith. Amanda successfully defended a capstone titled Evaluation and Utilization of Current and Recommended Assessment Areas for Children with Torticollis. She is being hooded by Dr. Deborah Espy. I present you Dr. Amanda Smith. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Samantha Sesteric. Samantha successfully defended a capstone titled Exploring the Need and Impact of Integrating Mental Health Screenings into Physical Therapy Practice. She is being hooded by Dr. Mary Milidonis. I present you Dr. Samantha Sesteric. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Rachel Stark. Rachel successfully defended a capstone titled The Developmental Milestones, Filling the Gap in New Parent Education. She is being hooded by Dr. John Jezorowski. I present you Dr. Rachel Stark. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Lindsay McMurray Stevens. Lindsay successfully defended a capstone titled Streamlining Communication, Enhancing the Home Exercise Prescription for both clinicians and patients. She is being hooded by Dr. John Jezorowski. I present you Dr. Lindsay McMurray Stevens. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Alyssa Taglieri. Alyssa successfully defended a capstone titled The Importance of Sleep for Student Athletes, Interventions to Improve Physical and Mental Health. She is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giffray. I present you Dr. Alyssa Taglieri. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Gabriel Van Dyke. Gabriel successfully defended a capstone titled Examining the Correlation Between Physical Function and Perceived Quality of Life. He is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giffray. I present you Dr. Gabriel Van Dyke. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Kyla Wagner. Kyla successfully defended a capstone titled Bridging the Gap, Identifying and Overcoming Barriers to Patient Participation in PROMIS Assessments. She is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giuffre. I present you Dr. Kyla Wagner. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Megan Renee Wilker. Megan successfully defended a capstone titled Addressing an Invisible Barrier, Treating Phantom Limb Pain with Mirror Therapy. She is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giuffre. I present you Dr. Megan Wilker. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Josephine Wakowiak. Josephine successfully defended a capstone titled Reactive Balance, Why It Matters and Low-Tech Solutions to Implement in the Outpatient Clinical Setting. She is being hooded by Dr. Suzanne Giuffre. I present you Dr. Josephine Wakowiak. This concludes the conferring of doctoral degrees.
You don't need to stop. Our ceremony today concludes with the President formally conferring doctoral degrees upon the fall class of 2024. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the audience is asked to remain seated for the recessional while the platform participants, faculty, staff, and new graduates recess. Once the graduates have recessed, you may join them out in the lobby for a reception. Okay, this is the serious part. I now ask the platform party to rise. I ask the graduating class of 2024 to rise. And I invite President Bloomberg back to the podium.
You get the drill here, right? The provost gets to bring all the fun and I bring all the solemnity to this. This is a big darn deal though, folks. Fall class of 2024, you now join more than 145,000 graduates of Cleveland State University. We look to you to help us continue providing the same opportunity of education given to you for the next generation of graduates. As alums, you are our best ambassadors of goodwill and lifelong members of the Cleveland State University family. Don't be a stranger. Here we go, folks. Graduates, upon the recommendation of the faculty of Cleveland State University and by the power vested in me by the state of Ohio and the Cleveland State University Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each individual their respective degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates.
All right, if I can ask everybody to please stand, we'll end tonight with a CSU tradition, the singing of our university alma mater. The lyrics are found in your program and should also come up on the screen, and the music should also start. Last year there was no music, they left me standing up here, but music should start.
Near the shores of grace lay hearing, grounds for all to view. Proudly stands our alma mater, noble CSU. Lift your voices, join the chorus, till our
Folks, thank you all for joining us on this wonderful occasion. Please remain at your seats until the platform party and our graduates have recessed. We invite you to join us in the lobby for refreshments after.
I declare this commencement session to be concluded. Thank you.